year is 2021, and Libsyn launches the latest podcast on the Borgcast Galactica feed. In a freak mishap, Borgcast Galactica and its hosts, Peter and Anne-Marie, are blown out of their trajectory to re-emerge as Borg Rogers in the 25th century.
Hello friend, and welcome to Borg Rogers 1.17 with Anne-Marie and Peter.
Hello!
And today we're covering A Dream of Jennifer. Written by Alan Brennett. This is the last of his 6 episodes.
Were the other ones any good?
They were better than this.
Okay.
Directed by David G. Finney, second of 3, and BJ Count 1.
Hey there, where you going? Not exactly knowing. Who says you have to call just one place? Oh, he's going everywhere. DJ McKay and his best friend there.
No, the computers don't show an address for Layla Marcuson in City on the Sea. She must just be a visitor of the city.
Well, that makes things a bit harder, but I'm going to find her.
No, Buck, listen. Even if you do find her,
Doc,
what then?
Jennifer meant a lot to me. And if there's only a 1 in a million chance, I've got to take it. You can understand that, can't you?
Oh, I suppose. For a year after my wife died, I had dreams. Nightmares, actually. I'd wake and expect to see her face. And then I'd remember that she was gone. I suppose were I in your shoes, I'd do exactly the same thing. Good luck.
Thanks, Doc.
So, Spuck is in space blue
Spock?
water.
That's a good start.
Yeah,
It's
Spuck.
It's not quite Spock and it's not quite Buck.
Spuck.
Spock Rogers.
I've had a shit day. I really have. I've had a shit day.
Spock you.
Yeah. Mug you, motherfuckers, or something. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Buck is in space blue water.
It's like a very badly disguised Western set, isn't it? It's terrible.
Well, it's crossed with a fucking garden centre. Because he's shopping for a hot tub, and it looks a bit like Pole Hill in some shots.
Yeah, and how do they fit a hot tub in that tiny cylinder, Guy?
I don't know. Maybe it's for 1 foot. I don't know.
Just add water and it goes... Ding.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, he sees someone,
Jennifer!
Jennifer, and runs after her in a hideously chest-revealing top.
Yes.
And then he's in his quarters.
Oh, do we want to know who plays Jennifer?
Well, yes, I do, because I know her. We need to do the Who Are You tune.
Uh-huh. She's best known from Battlestar Galactica as Sheba.
Oh!
Yeah. She was also in 4 episodes of Murder, She Wrote as 4 different characters. Quantum Leap, has a small role in Basic Instinct, is in Automan.
Oh.
And BJ Count 2! Yes! We've got a twofer.
He just keeps on moving, ladies keep it moving. Every day is better than the
New dreams and better scenes. And best of all, I don't pay property tax.
So, yeah, Buck's in his quarters that include a coat stand with nothing on, and I just can't compute that. We have insane amounts of hooks in his house. We've bought extra ones, put extra ones up, and we've still got more coats than we have hooks. The idea of an empty coat stand just does not compute.
Yeah, well, he doesn't wear coats because they cover up his chest, so...
Okay. And then he sort of says that he wants to sleep, and there's already one bed there, so he launches another bed to make a bunk bed, but then he sleeps on the one that was already there. What was the point?
That was completely pointless, yes.
And he just goes to lie on it, and he doesn't seem to be wearing PJs particularly, and he's got no covers or anything. I know sometimes in the future you don't have covers, but there's a comfort to covers. So I think you would have them, even if they're weird, shiny shit like they have in Star Trek Next Gen. That doesn't make an awful lot of sense. At least that's something. And it just looks a bit like one of them old leather sofas, doesn't it? It doesn't really look like a proper bed. Anyway, he's dreaming of the past.
I was dreaming of the past, and my heart being fast. I began to lose control.
And he's with Toby, his friend, and he's wearing a really hideous beige three-piece suit. Oh, God.
He's wearing a three-piece
He's
suit.
wearing a three-piece suite, yeah.
So far, so good.
The reason I said that is the colours reminded me of a fucking hideous actual three-piece suite my parents had. It was really proper 70s beige. And it had those, you know, those sort of, like loops of thread at the bottom to make a dangly pattern bit. Do you know what I mean? I don't know what you call that. It was a big thing in the 70s and it looked shit.
Well, like,
Sort of fringing.
yeah, fringing, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, Bucks, or Spuck, as I appear to be calling him because, you know, fuck words. Buck's suit reminded me of my parents' three-piece suite. Hideous. Anyway, so then you get Jennifer and she's all like, oh, I don't want you to go because it's clearly just before his mission. And so I brought you a present and it's a photo of her. Now, isn't that arrogant?
Yeah, it's a bit naff as well.
Yeah. Oh, you can put it on your shit before you go. Okay. And then he's in his quarters looking at the picture. How has he still got that?
Well, he took it with him in his ship, didn't he? That's what he was told to do. I mean, obviously, there were no weight limits, unusually.
Yeah. Okay. And then you cut to him and Wilma doing a training session and she compliments him on his fancy flying. He's like, oh, it's nothing special because he's clearly, you know, feeling a bit glum. And then she's got to go and check something out, so he's going to wait for her in the lounge. And then at the spaceport, he sees her again and chases her, but she goes onto a ship.
Did you hear the tannoy, by the way?
No, I didn't.
Call for Captain Christopher Pike.
No! Oh, wow, no, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, it was a bit awesome.
Cool. And so then he goes up and says, I want information on the passengers. There was this woman, I need to find her, I need to speak to her. And the woman's like, no, we can't release our information. And he's like, yes, sensible, data protection. But then the bloke goes, oh, you Buck Rogers, oh, give him everything you want.
Yeah.
And it turns out that she's gone to City on the Sea, which turns out to be New Orleans, for a festival of masks, which turns out to be Mardi Gras. Except when you get there, it's a fucking shit Mardi Gras. Anyway. Yeah. And then you have him talking to Colin about wanting to go and find her, and you know, Buck's like, oh, you know, I hope you understand. And he says, I do understand. After my wife died, I dreamed of her. Well, except it was nightmares, really, because when I woke up, she wasn't there. And you're like, oh, Colin, I want to give you a hug. It's like, oh. And then seemingly out of nowhere, you cut to the red people.
Yeah, there's a bit of a jolt at that point.
It is.
It's all been a bit sort of saccharine for the most part up to this point. And then, here are the baddies! They've got red faces! What the hell?
Yeah. And then Jennifer appears and says everything's going to plan. Buck should be on his way. And
Commander Reeve is played by Paul Coslow.
Is he the one doing the what the fuck is that accent?
Yes, he is with the tights. In Galactica 1980 was Billy Ayres, the dude that ran the kids' baseball camp. He's also in Robot Jocks.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Stargate SG-1 and the A-Team again. Yeah. And he's assisted by Nola. N-O-L-A Lola.
I preferred her acting to his.
You didn't recognise her?
Well, all I could see was red, my love. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, no, I hadn't. No.
And what you might have been recognised her from, she's in a lot of makeup, so it wasn't going to happen. But she was Kodaf in Babylon 5.
Oh,
Yeah, Jakar's first attaché.
okay.
Also Calamity Jane in Death Race 2000. In the 1990 Dick Tracy and Mrs. Columbo is a favourite series of ours that we've never seen.
So you find out from Jennifer that she doesn't normally look like that. She's undergone surgery and she wants her money.
Money. And we're dealing with a warrior race. Oh, that's not at all a cliche already, is it?
So, bad red dude is like, is it Reeve? Reeve says to Jennifer, look, you've got to not be around immediately. You've got to wait a couple of hours. We're starting to get a bit stressed. He's at his most vulnerable. That's when you appear. And then after she's gone, the woman, what was her name?
Nola.
Nola.
No, Nola.
So, yeah, Nola says she's a bit sort of soft, what are you going to do about that? And he's like, no, I've thought about everything, don't worry, I've got backup plans, whatever. And then you're back in the defence dome and finding out that these people are wanting to move against Vega 5. So they've got a clandestine mission involving an M-class freighter, which is apparently a bit of a shit freighter, and that's why it's clandestine. And they're doing as the supply run, and it's Wilma and a group of 5 people, including a guy I recognised. And you said something about a turban, and I got a bit confused.
Yes, Lieutenant Rekoff, played by Jesse Lawrence. Turban and MC Hammer pants. Star Trek The Next Generation. Particularly bad Star Trek Next Generation episode.
He's not in Code of Honour.
He is, it's Lutan!
Oh, God.
Yeah, in a much more respectable role, this one, it has to be said.
Yeah. Gosh. Oh, dear.
Look how racist we're being.
Then you cut to a really terrible Matt. Most of the Matts in Buck Rogers are all right,
Yeah,
aren't they?
works of art for the most part. This is just awful.
It's terrible.
It's like a 5-year-old painted it over a painting of sea. It's rubbish.
Yeah, and also as well, you've got those rocks at the front that also don't work. It kind of doesn't work on more than one level.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible, Matt. And then you've got this sort of people at the shit Mardi Gras that starts off a bit sort of Benny Hill, and then it sounds like sort of fake jazz, I don't know, and ends up with Earwig the magician doing shit magic with a dead dove.
Silby, I think you'll find his name is, but I mean, that's a completely pointless scene that goes absolutely nowhere.
Hence, I've not dwelt on it.
Yeah,
because
so-
there wasn't any plot to dwell on, was there, really? No. Anyway, he sees her again and says, sort of explains himself and then says, I must speak to you. And she's like, I know a cafe that we can go to. And
Takes him to a happy eater.
oh, God, I'd forgotten about them.
Pancakes with, what was it, syrup?
But didn't they have a symbol of a red face?
It was like Pac-Man, was there?
But red?
Yeah.
Like these bad guys?
Oh, there you go. See, they're the happy eater people.
Spuck Rogers and the Happy Eater people.
Ba, 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 ba. Yeah, there we are.
Yeah.
Wilma is loading a shuttle with large random shapes.
I know.
Because we need more padding, apparently. Buck apologises to, is it Layla?
Lola?
Lola?
Don't know.
Lula. For staring at her, and she says she likes it. Freaky.
I like it, I like it. I like the way you run your fingers through my hair. And I like the way you tittle my...
At least he recognises there's something different about her, but he wants to get to know it, which isn't clever. Layla says he doesn't want to know her and tells him to leave. But too late, because Nola turns up and takes him away. She's ditched the red face. I presume that's sort of like a disguise or something. So presumably they have plenty of face paint in the future. But then Buck swings into action and with Layla's help knocks the Eviltons out and runs for it.
It's such a shit fight. I mean, most of Buck's fights aren't good, but this is quite spectacularly bad.
The way the baddies go down as well is really pathetic. Yeah. That's a hard floor and going down very slowly. We see the freighter, which is the Raven from Return of the Fighting 69th. It's self-made from moulds used to fabricate the Draconia, all very thrifty. Layla explained she was in this because she needed money, but now regrets it because she didn't realise how it'd make Buck feel. Yeah. Reeve and goons turn up wearing ridiculous masks, having implanted a tracker in Layla. He claims the Federation has been misinformed about his intentions, so he's like trying to win Buck over, but then rather ruins it by threatening him with death if he doesn't cooperate.
Exactly.
I'm a good guy, really. Now, do what I tell you or I'll kill you.
Yeah.
He claims there are only androids on the ship. Ooh, itchy chin. When Layla is threatened, Buck gives in. Nola goes with him and seems to be coming on to him. Ooh, everybody loves Buck. Tweaky brings Hugh some surprise soup.
Oh,
which
what
is
the
sweet.
fuck is that? I mean, it's sweet, but it's like really steaming / really cold as a prop. I don't know. And it's just sort of beige.
Beige soup, yeah. Buck sends a distress signal to the freighter and Wilma orders their ship tractored in. And there's some quite nice effect shots with this bit, actually, to be fair. Some of the other effect shots weren't good in this episode, but I like these ones. Nola shoots the droids, which challenge them. And then Wilma turns up. Buck tells her to drop her gun and then shoulder barges Nola.
Oh,
really
it's not even
feebly.
a barge. It's like a slight nudge. and
well-
she falls over because reasons.
Well, then Wilma shoots her and she falls over for that reason.
But the shoulder barge doesn't even move her out the way, though.
He then
Not
sugge-
really.
He then suggests blowing up an asteroid to fool Reeve into thinking the freighter's gone bluey. The ship warps away with an impressive effect.
I quite like that, yeah.
Layla says she wants to leave with Buck, but Reeve reminds her of her transponder implant, which means they're able to track her. There's a cool combined matte and model shot of Buck's shuttle returning. He's using the repainted Canarius, by the way, his shuttle. He's captured and Layla throws herself in front of Buck to stop him being shot. Wow, we've never seen that before.
No, it's completely new as an idea.
Yeah, the bad guys just stand there when they could have shot at Buck again.
Oh, I know, that's just ridiculous. He stands there with the gun actually pointed at Buck, looking at him and Layla.
Yeah,
Just
for
oh.
ages.
Yeah, not even just briefly.
Oh, dear. Do you think I was a bit like Jennifer, she says, as she dies? Ugh.
Oh, God.
Cue more romantic tragedy music, which is pretty awful, to say the least. Buck admits he can't go back to the past and needs to make the best of the future. Hewer has found some movies for him, a documentary called Mandibles.
I love this.
Which, of course, turns out to be Jaws.
I can see real life Colin making
But it's
that
nice to see
mistake.
they've got physical, recording devices in the future.
Physical media
Yeah,
can't
exactly.
be taken away from you.
Oh, yeah, all this, streaming stuff has gone by then. People
Good.
realise it's a massive rip-off. And Tweaky quips just when you thought it was safe in the 25th century.
I like that. And then the theme has got a Jaws twang to it,
Yeah, a
hasn't
bit
it?
of a disco Jaws theme. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the episode started badly, to say the
Oh,
least.
very.
Very cheesily. When the bad guys enter the fray, it gets a bit better because they're just ridiculous. And it's nice to have Dr. Hewer's character fleshed out a bit.
Sweet.
Yeah, but the mopey romance stuff is crap. You get the impression this is the sort of episode that Gil Gerard wanted.
Yeah.
And it really doesn't work because it's too downbeat and not cheesy and fun enough.
It's not cheesy and fun enough, but also the whole thing is kind of, it doesn't fit together well and is quite jarring as an episode. Like, you want to be laughing at the stupid red people,
Yeah.
and the Tweaky and his soup and, Mandible and whatever. And then you've got all this sort of fake weird shit, romance of wrong. Yeah. Overall, I'm not a fan, but there are bits that I like.
Yes, it's mostly weak sauce, but with the occasional juicy bit of
Something.
vegetable. I don't know, vegetables aren't juicy. Lump of cheese. Yes.
Cheese is good.
Yeah.
And we've heard from Jeff, who writes, "A Dream of Jennifer wasn't a nightmare, but it wasn't especially good either.
No.
It was trying to tell a moody, noirish tale of lost love, something that this show is constitutionally incapable of executing. Despite what he might believe, Gilbert's strengths lie in portraying an affable cheeseball, not brooding and complex."
That's exactly right. Yeah,
Yes.
You put your finger right on it there.
Yeah. Anne Lockhart performed her duties admirably, but I liked her in her Galactica and maybe biased. The red-faced aliens and future Mardi Gras could have been fun, but they felt wasted in this episode's attempt to be a bit more serious. And what was the point of the utterly incompetent magician? Fuck knows. Dr. Hewer had a very brief but beautiful moment sharing his own history with loss and grief. It was actually really well written, and Tim O'Connor delivered it with heartbreaking conviction. Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm still cut up about that bit.
As usual, Erin Gray was awesome as Wilma. Something positive not only about this episode but the series in general has been a complete lack of the cliched will they won't they romantic tension between Wilma and Buck. I really like...
That's funny because, Sprog 2 commented on that.
Yeah.
It's like, they're always almost putting them together but not really. And it's like, the problem is they can't do it because Buck's got to be in love with every other woman on the show.
And Jeff says, "I really like the relationship they have as friends and comrades in arms."
Yeah.
So after a very telegraphed self-sacrifice of Layla, we get a groaning Orko ending with a Jaws joke, completely undermining the episode's earlier pretensions. All in a fairly poor showing, but interesting from an analytical viewpoint. And finally, Merry Christmas and season's greeting to you and yours, and all the wonderful listeners and feedbackers.
Yes.
Thank you!
Thank you. We've heard from Doreen.
A Dream of Jennifer, or should that be Buck Rogers' stalker, who is up against the parents of, a race of beings that appear to be the parents of the Munchkins from the first Charlie and the Chocolate Factory movie. Buck Rogers is very good at stating the sheer obviousness of situations. Like when he said to the pretend Jennifer, anything up until now is in the past. Well, yeah, duh. But there was nice wee moments between him and Dr. Hewer about loss of loved ones and stuff. That was quite nice. And the Tango people that were the baddies at least seemed quite threatening and quite menacing. So that was quite good. Oh, the circus acts and the gymnasts and the sort of poses for the contortionists and that, it just seemed to be there to emphasise the female form and the male gaze / graze. But hey, it was Buck Rogers. What did I expect? So, it was reasonable. Not sure if I would call it great, but reasonable. Thank you. I hope you have a good Christmas. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Have a
Thank
good Christmas.
you.
Yes,
Bye.
I'm pretty sure we wouldn't call it great, but
No.
there we go.
No, and you're right, very good at stating the obvious. Anything up until now is in the past. Duh. Yes, exactly. I hadn't thought of the red people as the parents of the Munchkins particularly, but...
Yes, overgrown Oompa Loompas.
Yes, yes. And I think you're right. I think the contortionist was there to emphasise the female form. The woman and you went all nice buns. I think it was just there, wasn't it, for the male gaze?
I think she was just left over from the Olympics episode, and I thought, well, that worked well. Let's use her again.
Yeah.
She does really well with her upside down and waving her butt in the air. Yeah. Hey, it's a gift. Looks good on your CV. I won't go with that.
I don't know either.
Let's face it, you got your acting description, what would you call it, your CV, and it says it does excellent headstands. It's not going to get you many roles, is it?
No, it isn't. No.
Anyway, let's move swiftly on.
Okay. What did Sampo and Yona make of this?
Hello.
Hello.
So we just watched A Dream of Jennifer.
And what happens in it?
Well, I mean, he saw A Dream of Jennifer, so this might be the most correct episode title so far.
Might be.
So those were the good parts of the episode.
Wait, I wrote my notes the one word ARG with 11 A's.
Yeah, okay, it started off like another Buck melancholy episode, and then we see a Mitchell of the week, really. I mean, it wasn't really her, but she died, so... And I'm betting we never hear of her again.
Probably won't, because she kinda died.
But I mean, good thing he got a copy of Jaws that made his depression go away, and we got the laugh ending again. Yeah. Okay, so the episode. I almost liked the head baddie. I mean, I guess I've got a thing for people who calculate probabilities, but he was defeated by a lazy kick in the chest. So
They were made out of glass.
Yeah.
All of their races were.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the mission went okay, and no one ever mentioned it. Yeah, I guess Wilma saved the day again off screen.
Yeah.
So for a seemingly intelligent sort of alien, I mean, the plan was pretty stupid.
Liked the pants though. Non-pants.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if they want the good guys to trust them, maybe they shouldn't dress like bad guys or something. Okay, but the worst part of, I mean, the Jennifer or whatever her real name was, but I mean, she was like, I couldn't get a grip on her character. I mean, okay, she wanted money, and then she spent 5 minutes with Buck, and well, of course, then she wanted to reform, and she always wanted to be like Jennifer. And
she's like a 6-year-old who is in a toy store. Like, I always wanted this Lego set, and I always wanted to have this other thing.
Yeah, so true. And
but hey, could we rewind for?
Yeah, sure.
What was the face in Buck Rogers' quarters?
I've got no idea.
Was she trying to draw Jennifer from his memories?
I don't know. I mean, I guess that was his idea of quirky interior design. I don't know. And what was up with the font on that freighter? I mean, every second letter was...
Every A was big.
Okay, it was just the A's. Okay, it looked like...
Every other letter was also...
Yeah, my head hurt looking at it. I mean, low budget Mardi Gras. And the magician who we only saw in one scene, I thought we'd see him again, but magician, but no.
Yeah, the one that the bird like...
Okay, I'll admit that was funny. But I mean, Jennifer, it was so infuriating. And there she's dying, and I hoped I was able to please you even a bit, Buck. And God.
11 A's, arg.
Yeah, I mean, I was just glad she died, the stupid...
Just being misogyny, like the woman there. Like...
Yeah, the red woman who only spoke like a few times, and both times she was like, she's soft and...
Oh, how she hated other women.
And I think I say this every week, I mean, but it seems that the bad guys are just getting more and more inept. They were completely useless. They couldn't do anything. How could they be breaching the defenses of any Vega colony anywhere? I mean,
that's why they needed Buck.
But yeah, you made a good point. I mean, maybe they knew that they were crap. That's why they kidnapped someone to do their thing for them. But okay, if the red ones did something well, I mean, they were able to make a completely lifelike clone from just a photograph.
Yeah, that's... Oh my god, the photograph. For a moment there, I thought she'd give something else. Yes, I'm giving you this ancient dick pic for myself for you to remember. It was just a selfie.
So yeah, I mean, everyone was infuriatingly stupid in this episode. I guess that's about sums it up, right? Okay, how many episodes do we have left? Let's see.
Yeah, this is interesting.
3 in this season.
Okay, how many seasons do we have left?
2. Season 2 is very short.
Why?
I guess it was even worse.
What good times we have ahead of us.
Yeah. Okay, well, guess that's it.
Okay, this is it. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah, season 2 is short. Is it?
Thankfully.
Is it because it's even worse? Yes.
Yes, famously.
Yeah. I mean, I can remember enjoying at least one episode, but I think not for the reason the writers wanted me to.
Possibly, yeah. Well, anyway, we'll see how it goes, but it's definitely a different beast, and it lives a thankfully short life. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought Reeve did a good job tumbling over the table. I mean, all right, yeah, they're pants villains yet again, but the stunt work was quite good.
Well, he did a good job tumbling over the table, but the way he fell didn't match the force of Buck's kick. That's
the force.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just terribly
Maybe Buck farted at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
And they were dressed like panto baddies, it has to be said.
Really,
I mean, they really didn't come across as anything other than obvious baddies. But
yeah.
But that font is the same throughout Buck Rogers with the weird
terrible.
capitals
It's in
and
the wrong
lowercase
place.
in random place.
But don't they do the same font in... Is it Horns of Nimon? There's a Doctor Who episode where I'm sure they use the same shit font.
Yeah, and it could be. Oh, we're coming up to that in our Who rewatch, so we'll find out.
But it seems to have been a thing of that era.
Trying against fonts. Yes.
Yeah, that it must be futuristic. It's like, no, it's not. It's just shit. And you're right, Wilma saved the day again off screen. Which is, it's good that she's...
Yeah, she's always doing something important, but unfortunately it's not centre stage because Buck has to be.
I like the idea that the baddies know that they're crap and that's why they kidnap Buck.
Yeah.
That kind of works for me.
Let's find out how much Drew and Tracy hated this one.
So that was A Dream of Jennifer.
Yeah.
And what did we think of that one then?
It's all right. There was funny bits in it. I think carried it, but it's all right.
It was a bit like Sweetie, poor Buck with a broken heart.
I guess so. There's a lot of kind of mournful Buck in the whole of this episode, isn't there?
So let's just go through it. So this was about someone playing on the fact that Buck had a previous life, and obviously he knew he was in love with this Jennifer.
Yeah, that was the plan, wasn't it?
But who in the 25th century knew what the fuck Jennifer looked like?
Well, no, they did say that they broke into his apartment and got the picture.
That one picture of her doing a side-face glance.
Yeah. And we liked when Jennifer of the past gave him the picture as a present, wasn't it? That's what we're going to get Pete and Anne-Marie for Christmas, isn't it? Here's a picture of us as a present.
Be warned, guys.
When it went to the aliens, the tomato people.
The Oompa Loompas gone wrong.
It's just like, where these guys come from?
I know.
It's just
it was like a random...
Has the DVD gone wrong? It's gone to the next episode.
It was just very random, wasn't it? Like all these people that just were red.
Yes.
I didn't quite get that. And they kind of blended in when they were in the New Orleans, City by the Sea.
Yeah.
And they had like the little Mardi Gras masks
the mask.
on. They blended in quite well. I don't care. That was Disneyland.
It did look like
that
Disneyland
was the plot.
a lot.
That was the land of Disneyland, because you could see that it was like all the little huts and stuff like that.
We liked Reeves, didn't we? He was. I think he was the funniest bit of the episode.
He was, but I kept saying to you, if I close my eyes, he just sounds like Hair Flick.
He did have the slight hair flicks about him, didn't he? And plus, he also, when he was the stuff he was saying was hair flick as well. He made us laugh, didn't it? When he said to Buck, he said, right, we want you to blow up the ship. And Buck says, why should I do that? And he says, number one, you will be helping the Federation and the Vegas. Number two, if you don't, we will kill you. It's brilliant, isn't it?
Very good, very good. So I have real kind of issues with this Layla.
Yes.
Jennifer woman. You know, she was like, oh, I'm going to lure Buck to like the baddies so I can get paid. And then instantly she spends like 2 minutes in his company and she's like, oh, but I don't want to hand you over now. I love you.
Buck won her over.
Yeah, and Buck being like, Buck, obviously like he's got a
tries
heart,
to help her,
and like he wants to help her. But I have to say, when Layla got shot, right,
yes,
that was sad.
It was sad.
But then she woke up.
She didn't wake up, she was a dying breath.
No, because she kind of like, she got shot and you thought she was dead, and then he held her, and then she kind of opened her eyes, and then she jawed for about half an hour.
It was just like, is she still dying here?
They could have taken you off for surgery in the time that you've just said your goodbyes.
A dying breath was like a dying paragraph, wasn't it?
So at least Buck got the last laugh. When Hugh, it's always good to end an episode where Buck is getting a bit of a laugh. Ha, ha, ha. But we have to say, when Hugh handed over the thing, I think this is what you call a movie. It's something to do with...
He said it's like a nature film.
Yeah, it's something to do with nature and a mouth. You instantly went... I said it's a porno, and you went deep throat. And
that's what I went when he said a nature film.
And
I thought he was talking about people without any clothes on.
It turns out it was Jaws.
Yeah.
Section 2 free?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
This was a bit like...
I think it had funny bits in it. Otherwise, it would have been rubbish for me. But we was just giggling a little bit.
We was giggling.
Not
and
the
we
best
was kind of making a bit of like...
We
you had to get some like fun out of this, because it was like, where are these like tomato people coming from and everything.
Yep.
Anyway, should we leave it there?
Okie dokie.
Take it easy, guys. See you later.
Bye.
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 Yes, we look forward to our Christmas present.
Yeah. And it's got to be the two of you looking over your shoulder as well, because that was the photo.
Oh,
yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
But yes, he was a bit hair flick, wasn't he?
Just a tad. Yes, he was. And also, thankfully, my brain didn't go to Colin thinking it was getting mixed up with a naturist flick, and I'm quite glad I didn't go to that place, to be honest. And I think you're right. It would have been terrible without the funny bits, and we did have some giggles, but it mostly wasn't really very good.
Yeah. And right down to the wire, we've got some feedback from Purry.
Hello, Orgs. Murray the Pie Man here to talk about A Dream of Jennifer. Sadly, not the Jennifer from Lower Decks. I think that would have been a bit more entertaining. Yeah. I don't know. Why are they trying to do something serious? Had Gilbert decided he wanted to cut his acting chops a bit or something to make this a bit more of a personal episode? Was he really trying to... Because it looked like he was attempting to do something not entirely 100% unlike acting. But, I found all the stuff with him moping over Jennifer so very tedious. The minute that sad piano music came in, I was switching off. What I did like, I mean, I suppose I shouldn't just barrel in, but the negative parts, he sees this girl who looks like the love of his life, who he's never mentioned before or since, and he chases after her, and she says she's not her, but she's actually someone disguised by someone else to get Buck, because he's the only person who can stop a relief shuttle from the Earth Defence Directorate. Now, one of the things I did like, I liked wistful Dr. Hure. I liked Dr. Hure talking about when his wife died and the period of mourning he went through. I liked him talking about wouldn't it be nice if someone could meet their dreams, beat the I mean, Hure was very much in a wistful, slightly melancholy, wistful period, this thing, and I thought it really suited him. But the actual story, there's some baddies wanting to do a bad thing. They want Buck to do it for them, and they decide that apparently the great leverage would be this woman who is known for 20 minutes, who dies at the end. That's kind of it, and again, it was a horribly unengaging story. I don't think it was helped by the fact that I didn't mind the red-faced baddies. I actually thought that was it was a good striking makeup job, and the kind of space Mardi Gras at least gave us some of that Buck Rogers. I mean, it's good they got some more out of the acrobats from Olympiad, and just daft people running around in masks. It gave a bit of a festival atmosphere. I didn't mind that, but the kind of thing was, for starters, the red-faced aliens, their leader, their outfits were kind of these, I want to call it a smock. It kind of came just below the bum, and then tights, but the leader's tights were a different colour from the rest of his outfit, and it was Iona who said it, and after she said it I couldn't unsee it. It basically looked like he'd come in and forgotten to put on his trousers, and after that I just thought that leader was wandering around the whole time without his trousers on, and well, I mean, it didn't ruin the episode. If anything, it actually added slightly more entertainment value. But yeah, I've got to admit it, this one, no, I'm pretty down on this one. I think it was trying too hard to do the sad, serious bit, and I think it didn't bring the fun, and it didn't do the sad, serious bit well, so there wasn't really anything for anyone in that. So yeah, a bit of a dud, in my view, but I wouldn't mind more wistful Dr. Hure. That would be fun. So all that remains for me to say is do keep up the good work. I always look forward to the cast, and I hope to feedback in the next one, but until then, bye for now.
Bye!
Yeah, Gilbert wanting to cut his acting chops.
I fear so, yes.
Yeah, and it's, that sad piano went on for... It was tedious, but the sad piano in particular went on for far too fucking long. Really did. And yeah, you're right. He's never mentioned her before, the so-called love of his life.
Yeah.
And because he's never mentioned her before, that then made me think, why did they know to take that particular picture? It could have been his daughter, which would have been all kinds of wrong.
Yeah.
Or, it could have been anyone, really. It could have been a picture of a famous person from his day, couldn't it? Like, I don't know, the equivalent of Marilyn Monroe or something. They've got no way of knowing because he'd never fucking talked about her before. But yeah, wistful Dr. Hure. Yes, that was... No. Did you think that Reeve had forgotten to put his trousers on?
No, but no, I can't think of anything else.
You cannot unsee.
Apparently this was broadcast on Valentine's Day, which might explain the...
It doesn't excuse it.
It doesn't, though. So there we go. Yes, I didn't think this one was going to be ranking very highly, just the title.
No.
Makes you think, ooh. But it had its moments, at least.
Yeah. So what's the title of the next one?
Far more promising. On Thursday the 13th of January, because we're having a bit of a Christmas break, we'll be covering Space Rockers.
Oh, yes. That sounds like what Buck Rogers should be.
Yes, it does.
I bet it's got disco in it and weird shit dancing.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love it to have Slade in it, but unfortunately I don't think that's going to happen. But
is it going to have some kind of strange pretend guitar or something that doesn't really work?
Probably with lots of LEDs along the side to make it look like a sci-fi guitar. Yeah, that's what I'm betting.
Yeah.
This could be the good stuff. It
could be, yes. And our Christmas special is on the
Star Trek feed.
On the Star
broadcast.
Trek feed because it was linked to Picard, but it was also back when we came up with the bloody idea, linked to Battlestar Galactica.
It was, yes.
Before we were knocked out of our trajectory and ended up becoming Borg Rogers. So do check that out as some entertainment.
Yes, that'll be up Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, round about then. We'll say take a couple of weeks break, and then we'll catch you for Space Rockers.
Yeah.
Have a great Christmas.
Happy Christmas.
Thanks to everybody who's fed back, thank you for listening. And we'll catch you in the new year. Ooh,
2022.
spooky. Yes, not quite the 25th century, but it feels like it. Cheery, bye.
Bye, bye.
I met her in a club down in Old Soho, where you drink champagne and it tastes like Coca-Cola.
The voiceover for Borg Rogers was provided by Michael David Sims from Earth2.net.
The Buck Rogers theme was played by Drew Barker. All other music is used for illustrative purposes only, and no copyright infringement is intended.
The artwork for this podcast was created by Andy Palastides.
To contact us, send emails or MP3s to borgcast@gmail.com.
Contact us via Twitter at rev_org or Borgcastammo. #Borgcast.
Visit our website at galactica.libsyn.com.
Or view images relating to our cast on our Tumblr site, borgcast.tumblr.com.
You can join our Facebook page. There's also a Spotify playlist with all our play-out tunes on it.
I'm not dumb, but I can't understand why she walked like a woman and talked like a man. La 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 la. La 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 la
Shut it down!
Uh-oh, a pretty girl and it's off to the races.